Light coming on.
You know, we can,
Yeah, we could,
we can
I
share,
can talk real loud.
we can share this one, Ed.
Is that going through?
Green lights on, sure.
Can we continue? Is yours working? Yep.
That's working.
Okay. Next thing is the approval of minutes from April 24th, 24. Everybody's reviewed, made comments on them. Are there any last minute changes? Your motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Unfinished business, we have a public hearing on 809 Glacier. At the last meeting, Scott asked if anybody knew the applicant, and they said they did, and I also know the applicant. Bennett, see him several times a year. But I can be fair in my opinion. I think that was a question that you asked, was it not, Scott?
Yes, if
Any
you believe
problem?
there was a conflict of interest
Yep.
due to your relationship.
Nope. Okay, public hearing. Scott, you want to start off with this?
Yeah, I'll give a brief history since this one has been going on for a while. So, originally back on September 27th, 2023, a variance application was approved on this property to build a new shed that would be 4 feet from the east property line. It also included a variance for some mechanical equipment. When I began here, I asked for the final survey results to final out the project from the property owner. And he submitted a survey that showed the new shed was only 1.7 feet from the east property line. At that point, I told him his options were to move it as he had it approved in September, or to go back in front of the ZBA. On February 14th, 2024, the application came back to the ZBA. And at that point, the applicant had asked for a 1.7 foot variance from that east property line. And it also required a variance from the north property line, which is the rear property line. At the February 14th meeting, we had problems with the Zoom link. So we continued that public hearing to March 27th. On March 27th, we reheld the public hearing for the 1.7 foot setback. At that meeting, the ZBA had multiple concerns based on the location of the structure. There were some in attachment D. There are 4 correspondent emails that we received from some of the neighbors, and some of the concerns mirrored the concerns in those emails, which was some stormwater drainage coming over onto the neighboring property, and then also because the structure was so close to the property line, how would you be able to maneuver around it? Or there's also a door on that side of the shed. And how would you be able to get into that, having the structure so close to the property line? At the May 27th meeting, the ZBA brought up those concerns to the applicant and suggested that we table the project to allow the applicant to address those concerns. The applicant resubmitted some information to you, and that's attached as attachment C tonight, and it shows the proposed location of the shed being shifted over to 3.3 feet from the east property line. Basically, putting it up against the rock retaining or the stacked retaining wall, shifting it all the way over. I believe he had to take two of the stacks off to get the roof to fit over in that location. I believe he did all of this stuff, even though you're not supposed to, again, build the things before you get approval. He was just supposed to propose a plan, bring it in front of you tonight, but I'm sure you guys have all been out there. So you've noticed that all of the stuff that he has been requesting has already been completed. That doesn't mean you have to approve it. Again, we're acting like the building's not there and we're going to approve it if it's appropriate. So the things that he did again was shift the structure over to 3.3 feet from the east property line. He cut off a piece of the concrete to make the concrete further from the property line. Also put a gutter on the roof of the shed building with a rain barrel on it. And then I'm not sure because it wasn't done when I was out at the property. He has also stated that he's going to put a diversion edge on the east side of the concrete pad, which would be like a strip of asphalt or something on the east side of the concrete pad. So if the water was flowing down that way, it would hit that and then flow out to the south. So those are the items that he stated that he was proposing to do to address your concerns at the last meeting. We had to renotice this because shifting the structure over to 3.3 feet required a variance from the west side 20-foot setback because it's only 18.9 feet from that side now. So we renoticed with a variance to the east side setback, the west side setback, and the north side rear setback. So what's in front of you tonight is that entire thing. And if you want to look at the standards that are in place, everything goes back to the February 14th meeting, which is attachment A, that has all of the standards written into it. The building is shifting slightly, not really altering my staff report regulations on any of those standards. So really what you're here to do tonight is, did what the applicant do address your concerns that you had at the last meeting? So, and it looks like the applicant is on Zoom, but is not at this meeting tonight. I don't know if somebody is representing him. Oh, is that you? Is that you too? Oh, all right. So you're here. So, yeah, I think you could ask Dennis to present anything that I missed in that.
Yeah, in looking at that, I noticed that if you go back to the original proposal, the shed was 1 foot away. Now it's 3.3 feet away, which has improved the setbacks on that. And it appeared to me that all but the lip from the concerns of the ZBA members had been taken care of in the meeting minutes. Is that what you guys noticed?
Yes.
After reading that?
Alleviated all my concerns.
Okay. Dennis, would you like to speak a little bit on the project?
Well, after I he represent me, I don't feel comfortable speaking about it. I've done what I needed to do.
Okay.
Those words that just came out of his mouth, I never heard before. I said I'd come along, and I just have, well, first of all, glad to be back here. It feels like home. But the only thing I would say that when I read Scott's report on the 4 points under which variances are to be granted. I have no objection or comment upon the way he's laid it out, except that a self-created hardship. This isn't, at all, because a self-created hardship is like if you have a lake lot and you feed it off to somebody else, a little bit here, a little bit there, and you end up with a smaller lake lot, you come for a area variance, but you created a hardship. And there's one case, back, that's 1984, one Supreme Court. Since then, I kind of disagree with you. There's been a lot of unpublished opinions, but there's no published opinions that speak further as to a area. And the one thing that was stressed in the decision that I recall was that he emphasized the one phrase in the ZBA. You have to excuse my voice. I only operate with one phone before this day. Is section of the statute that requires substantial justice to be done. And everybody who buys property and everybody around Capitol has bought a lot, usually with a house on it, that doesn't meet any of the standards of the zoning ordinance. That doesn't mean you gave up your rights to appeal and to ask for a variance. What Dennis has done is he's an overachiever. And so I take exception to Scott's comment about you gotta wait for a permit. I think it affects the proceeding, but I don't see any illegality in it. And he is saving the water. And if somebody wants to calculate the rainfall, figure out 140 square feet that's being permanently diverted and it doesn't go downhill anywhere. So he said he's gonna put a lip on it. I think he's already there, but that's in your wisdom. If you want to impose that condition on him, he's offering it, he'll do it. I think that's about it. Unless you have.
I do not.
So the only thing I would say to that is there's 7 conditions, not 4.
Well,
So- Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Any ZBA members have questions?
I don't have any questions, but I'll share a few comments. Number one, I appreciate so much that the applicant has made efforts to improve the situation.
We may want to open the public hearing before
Okay.
they speak so that.
Sure. Any comments from public? Please. Okay.
My understanding, I'm quite sure. I was advised by previous owner, the home I bought, and the previous owner, Dennis bought, that the previous shed was right on the property. I had a survey conducted, it also showed the old shed right on the property. Not a problem, other than it's not 3.3 feet from the property line. If it is 3.3 feet from the property line, and it's 18.9 plus 12, that gives them a lot 34 feet wide, which I thought all of ours blocks were 33 feet. That I'm not quite sure, did the shed come larger than you ordered? Was the cement pad made smaller than it was supposed to? Feel that it didn't conform originally to what he said, but I like the correction. 3.3 feet property line. Mine, from what I measured, it was 28 inches.
Well, we're going from a survey, I guess, a certified survey, so that's what we can do. I'm not an expert as a surveyor, and I don't know if anybody else in this room is. as a certified surveyor.
I don't agree with that survey. Based
Okay.
on other surveys I have, and based on.
Okay, that will be noted in the minutes.
And I will, once everything is, I was going to have it done before, but if it makes sense, I'll wait until after it's decided. And then I'll.
Yeah, so I can address that survey question if you
Yep.
would like. Board.
Please.
So 18.9 plus 3.3 plus 10 is 33.2 feet, so. Yeah. It's 10 by 14.
Thank you.
So.
Comments from, are you, excuse me, do you have anything else you'd like to point out? Okay.
Yeah, we actually have a new survey. So we're starting from the actual property line. We don't know where the old shed was because it's no longer, I was not even here when the old shed was ever there, so I don't know where that was. But I know where the new shed is because we got a new survey.
Sure, thanks. When the applicant met with us a few months ago, we had expressed some concerns, and I very much appreciate the actions that he has taken or is taking to remedy some of our concerns. I was not part of the meeting, which I believe was last September, where the original variance was granted. But looking at the photos from where the original shed was, and as Scott had mentioned earlier, where one of our choices is to consider this just a new application right now, is if it moved further from the property line than it was, and it sounds certainly that it has, although we don't know for sure where the original shed was. I think it's fair for all of us to assess that it has moved further away from the property line than where the previous shed was. And if it was 3 feet, 3 inches, when I look and see it, all the other garages and structures that are in line with that there, many of those are right at or near the property line on theirs, the adjacent properties as well. That I would tend to approve the 3.3 feet variance for a shed to be placed there. Regarding the rain and the mitigation of the water, if action has been taken to alleviate that, it's not a terribly big area, as was noted earlier. I don't know your name, but Pete, but it's not a real large area. So if there is some mitigation to that to alleviate some of that, I'm satisfied with that as.
Ed, any comments?
Nope, I don't have any.
Angela?
No, well, I'll just say that I feel like the applicant, based on my visit to the property today, has addressed the concerns that the ZBA had in prior meetings.
Comments? Okay. I think I've already spoken as to what I thought of the application. It's an improvement in setbacks. In the original, because the original was just several inches from the property, and I think the application said 1 foot. And we're all out there at that time. It was well marked, I think, at that time, had a bunch of different stakes put there. But, so any other concerns on this?
Not for me.
All set? Okay, I think I'd like to, I'm gonna go through the standards of review, just vote on each one individually. Guess the new practices, we don't have to do it, but I'd like to.
Mhm.
Standard one, I'm not gonna read them.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Standard two,
Yes.
yes,
yes.
Yes.
Standard three,
Yes.
yes,
yes.
Yes.
Standard four,
Yes.
yes,
yes.
Yes.
Standard five,
Yes.
yes,
yes.
Yes.
Standard six,
Yes.
yes,
yes.
Yes.
Okay, it appears that the ZBA has approved the standard. Now we have a motion to read.
Did you standard seven?
Oh,
I did.
You just did.
I think you just did say.
Okay, standard seven.
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Just for thoroughness.
Oh,
I was wondering that.
Alright, motion. Motion to approve the variance application to allow construction of a new shed that will be 3.3 feet from the east property line, 18 feet 9 from the west property line, where 20 feet is required. And will be approximately 19 feet from the north property line where 35 feet is required. The variances meet variance standards of section 30.148 D 1-7 of the township ordinance as discussed at tonight's hearing and as stated in the staff report. Or second?
Second. Yes.
yes,
Yes. Okay, it appears that the variance has been approved. Okay,
Thank you for your time.
yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. New business, election of officers. The variance at 152 Shoreview is on hold. It's new business, election of officers, chair.
I'll nominate Steve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Vice chair, nominate Angela.
I'll second.
All in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Secretary Ed,
I second the motion.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, get that done. Any other communications come in? Any concerns, ZBA members,
Mm-mm.
meeting, any other concerns? Okay,
I'll just miss the meeting next week.
okay. Next month, if we have one.
Next month, yeah, next month.
We don't have anything on the agenda though for next month, do we not?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gotta be in.
Yep, it would have to be in this week, so
You put that in.
yeah, we won't have a meeting unless we get
Okay.
something.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
Oh, it could be, yeah, there is that, we have that one outstanding, you didn't, in the agenda, you have to continue. Yeah, there's the agenda, unfinished business, item 2. We're going to move it along because they didn't submit anything yet. So, that might be on the next agenda because we wouldn't need to renotice that one. So if they submit something before now, and then we could always put it on that agenda.
Okay.
Although more than likely it will shift the building and then we'll have to renotice it because it will be different variance requirements, because I can't imagine they're going to put it somewhere on that lot that meets. all the-
Yeah, that's a tricky.
Yeah, that's a pretty tricky lot over
Lot
there.
of-
There's a lot of curves, corners and weird, yeah, the L-shaped lot.
I hear a motion for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,